This motorcycle here costs well over rupees 40 lakhs on road in India. This is Harley-Davidson's Road Glide, the company's premium touring machine. Now, it was conceived to cruise down big highways, especially in its country of origin, the USA. But this is India, and our roads pose a unique set of challenges. So can this big American cruiser really handle our roads?
Take a breath and make it out of here.
You see, the thought of riding down the road on a big cruiser like the Harley-Davidson Road Glide on our roads is both alluring and intimidating at the same time. This motorcycle looks unique and offers an unparalleled riding experience, but having to manage this behemoth amidst the vagaries of the Indian road network can feel perplexing. At least that's the thought I had in my mind. Not to mention the sheer size and heft of the Road Glide that can make anyone question their ability of handling such a big machine. With its massive frame-mounted fairing and 2,430 mm length, the Road Glide occupies a lot of real estate, in a way that's quite unlike a regular motorcycle. I think this motorcycle looks really good. From this fairing to the fuel tank to the shape of this fender, there's a nice flow to this entire design. This fairing especially looks quite modern compared to the other motorcycles in the Harley-Davidson's cruiser family. But the other advantage of this big size is the amount of road presence that this motorcycle commands. It is just astonishing, the number of people who turn their heads and look at this motorcycle. It'll just blow your mind. I think that's what it feels like to be a celebrity. The kind of attention this motorcycle pulls is understandable considering how well it is designed. The XL size fairing with the twin LED headlights, which by the way work brilliantly at night, is nicely integrated with the rest of the bike. Then there's the glossy paint that contrasts beautifully with the acres of chrome that has been lavished on this motorcycle. Bits like the funky Prodigy wheels appear as spoked wheels from a distance, and even the lockable panniers are shaped so as to cohere with the bike's design. There's nothing that looks quite like the Road Glide on our roads, and that adds to the special feeling astride this motorcycle. Speaking of, the ergonomics are also spot on. The seating position reminds you of being seated in an armchair. Your arms are wide and spread apart. You're seated in this lovely cushioned seat, and you can just embrace the wind here as you're riding down the road. It is so comfortable. You can do Mumbai to Delhi without even feeling the fatigue. But the charm of a Harley-Davidson doesn't ebb away past the design and ergonomics. It's that big air-cooled twin that injects a dollop of character to the mix. The Milwaukee V-twin is the star of the show here, and it doesn't disappoint at all. In fact, the drama begins from the moment you fire it up. Whenever you fire up a Harley engine, you feel that vibrations. It gives you a sense of it being a locomotive-like engine. It just feels so powerful. Let me just start it up for you. Incredible, just incredible the way this sounds. The exhaust note turns into a nice deep soundtrack as you get going, and while there are mild vibrations, it can be easily passed off as character. Now, this engine is actually super smooth once you're out on the highway and when you're cruising. Also, there's so much of torque from low down that even from 1300 RPM, this thing just pulls and pulls and pulls. It's just effortless, absolutely effortless. And if you're in the mood to listen to your favorite music while on the move, the lovely Harley-Davidson boombox belts out loud and clear music. These speakers work very well and they are loud enough for you to listen to music even with your helmet on. At speeds up to 100, the sound is clear, but beyond that, the wind noise takes over and it becomes a little difficult to listen to the music being played. That said, it is quite loud, and let me give you a demonstration of how loud they can really be. As I said, it's quite loud. You can probably have a party down the road. Just park this bike, leave it on ACC, and yeah, you have your roadside party on this motorcycle. The speakers are loud enough to be heard while on the move, helped by the large fairing that does an amazing job of deflecting wind away from the rider. And while that is expected, what I didn't expect is for such a large motorcycle to feel so easy to handle. The bike is nicely balanced, and once you've got a sense of the bike's proportions, riding through traffic at low speeds is like a cakewalk. At high speeds, the bike is super stable and it is astonishingly nimble around corners as well. The only thing you'll need to keep in mind is the footboards are placed low and they will scrape once you are fairly leaned over. At this point, you can't tighten the turn, so the trick is to enter a corner slowly and exit quickly once you've sight of the exit. And then there are electronics such as Harley's new RDRS electronic rider aids that includes cornering ABS, cornering traction control that keep things in check. Also, there's another aspect to bear in mind while riding a big American bagger on our roads. Firstly is the low ground clearance. You have to bear in mind that these motorcycles do not have a lot of ground clearance in the first place, so you have to be careful while riding over bad roads and over tall speed breakers, but there will be a point where the bottom will scrape. Now, since this is a low slung cruiser, there isn't a lot of suspension travel to begin with, especially at the back. That said, in the stock settings, the ride felt quite pliant and comfortable. However, when you encounter big expansion joints and potholes, that's when the rear suspension tends to run out of travel and it bottoms out, and that sends a jolt right up your spine. This is only one of the few reasons why the Road Glide Special isn't a logical buy. The others being the heat you experience around your legs in traffic and the amount of parking space it'll occupy, especially in a congested city like Mumbai. These minor issues aside, the bike could tackle Indian roads in the way that we didn't expect it to. But this motorcycle is a celebration of all things Harley. From its sheer imposing presence to the big torquey V-twin engine and the way this motorcycle just cruises down the road so effortlessly and in such grand fashion. The Road Glide offers a motorcycling experience that is simply unparalleled.